on Facebook Live on facebook.com/livenowdt, as well as on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, where you are listening into the Fantasy Football Power Hour. Not one of, but the Fantasy Football Power Hour. Fantasy advice for NFL Week 9 of the 2020-2021 season is upon us. It's proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, and it features Mike Sofka of Hall of Fame FantasyFootball.com, and of course myself, Dan Tortora of WakeUpCallDT.com. You can message us your fantasy questions on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. And of course, you can join our joint group on Facebook, which is Winning Fantasy Football. All you have to do is type in Winning Fantasy Football in your Facebook search engine. You'll find us. You'll connect with us 24/7, and we're happy to give you advice as always. We do the show on a Wednesday so that you have the advice for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, giving you all of that early on in the week and, of course, throughout the week, willing to answer your questions if you send them to us personally, either in the Facebook group on HallOfFameFantasyFootball.com or by messaging any of the Wake Up Call social media, as I had mentioned before. So, without further ado, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, let's bring the man in, Mike Sofka. Mike, how you doing today?
I'm doing awesome, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mr. Sofka, and, hopefully there'll come a day where Syracuse starts winning some games so I don't have to talk about all their issues into our second hour of the show. So, maybe you can give me some ideas or some players or whatever it may be to come up to Syracuse so that we don't have to talk about the laundry list and that list gets shorter.
Well, I would come right out and tell you that maybe Florida Man would help you recruit some players for Syracuse, but on this day when we're the disgrace of the world and we can't figure out how to elect our leader, I will stretch it and go and make this morning. I'm gonna tell you something that not many people know. Are you ready? This is going to get a lot of hits on social media. I am Florida Man. When you hear Florida Man, it is me. I'm the guy who's walking out of 7-Eleven with a case of Busch Light at 2:01 in the morning, barefoot. I'm the guy who, whenever you hear a Florida Man, that's me. So just follow me. That's me. I'm Florida Man.
Mike telling the world today on the broadcast that he is indeed Florida Man. I did not expect this to happen. It's big and breaking news, and we are happy to bring it to you here first on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. With that being said, Florida Man, take it away. We are going to jump right into the mix of things here because we got games to go through, and we got people waiting with bated breath, as my grandmother would always say. Shout out to G Mama in heaven. And I pray, Grandma, that you and all of our loved ones up there in heaven are watching over us and guiding this world and this country with God and helping and praying and hoping that we can get some answers here and start moving forward in a positive way together. With that being said, Mr. Sofka, the first game on the docket feels like a great one if you're San Francisco. Green Bay went to San Fran twice last year, and they got bounced. And I thought that the home and home thing is what's supposed to happen, right? That's how college football works. Well, that's not how it's working with Green Bay and San Fran. Green Bay has this deal where they went to San Fran last year, then they went back in the playoffs. Now they're going back again for Thursday Night Football. What do you have for this?
Yeah, I got an ambulance. That's what I can bring for San Fran. Everybody is hurt. Both these teams coming off a loss. Both these teams look miserable. Green Bay doesn't have any running backs. San Fran doesn't have any running backs. They got a stable full, but injuries and problems on both sides of the ball. I'm surprised that either one of these teams can field the team with what's going on. COVID scare with Green Bay. So I'm to see a name that not many people know. You'll know it, Dan, because he used to be affiliated with the Jaguars. That's Tyler Ervin. He's one of my biggest pickups this week. If there's still an opportunity for you to pick this guy up, pick him up. Everybody's saying it's going to be Dexter Williams for Green Bay. I think it's going to be Tyler Ervin. So scour the wire, pick up Tyler Irvin. It's going to be a sneaky play. It's going to be a great daily fantasy play as well. Green Bay is actually favored in this game. That's because everybody on San Fran is hurt. The quarterback, Garoppolo's out. He's probably done for the season, probably going to end up having surgery. Kittle, he's going to be out until near the end of the season, and with their record, they might as well shut him down. So there's a lot of big names you're not going to see. The biggest name you are going to see, though, is Aaron Rodgers. He's number 12 on my quarterback rankings this week, and Devontae Adams is number 1. And he's the only wide receiver I've ranked. Why? Because he's the only wide receiver of note on Green Bay. One guy of note that may get a touchdown in the red zone, ranked number 18 on a tight end ranking, is Robert Tonyan. And again, Tyler Irvin. I'm going to tell you how excited I am about Tyler Irvin. He's number 22 on my rankings. Dexter Williams is 58. Don't believe the hype on Dexter Williams. I can't believe I'm talking about Dexter Williams and Tyler Irvin on fantasy football, but here we are. San Fran, they got problems at running back, too. I think Jerick McKinnon's finally going to show up this week. He had a dismal performance last week, 18 on the ranking. And JaMycal Hasty, this guy looks like magic every time he touches the ball. He's number 33 on my ranking. On the other side, on wide receiver, Brandon Ayuk, number 14 on the ranking. Russ Dwelly going to step up and take over for George Kittle. He's going to be the best friend of Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins ranked number 22. Russ Dwelly ranked number 7. Now, with all that in mind, and with Green Bay being favored, I am going to go Green Bay because I don't think San Fran's got anybody. If you're looking for a job in the NFL and you can run with the ball, well, they're looking for you in San Fran. If you can catch the ball, they're looking for you in Green Bay. So you can get a job with either one of these teams. I'm going to take Green Bay.
See, the thing is, Mike, and I want to say that Green Bay can win this game, but the issue is they've played this game numerous times. They played this game twice last year, and they got bounced. Now, granted, there was more health going on, and that was obviously something that San Francisco could lean on, is that their team was healthier. They were fielding a team, essentially, and they were able to, get some things going and whatnot. But, now the question is, like you said, where do these teams go? They've had to rely on, the backups to the backups to the backups, and bringing this guy off a practice squad and doing this and doing that. And that's just been the unfortunate reality, a fortunate reality for people that want an opportunity and are hoping to get out there and have a chance. So, shout out to them. But, this is also something that is unfortunately difficult because of what everybody's having to deal with out there right now. This has obviously been something we talk about, injuries and what they can do and how teams can be affected by it and whatnot. And that is, the reality of it all is that is where we are at in this with the COVID-19 list, as well as, just regular football and not being able to have a full preseason and what did that do and all that. So a lot of question marks come abound here. Green Bay and San Francisco, reeling from them as Mike picks Green Bay. I'll give you my thoughts on fantasy first and foremost. A.J. Dillon, Jamal Williams, and Aaron Jones are all hurt on Green Bay. That's why Mike obviously talking about trying to find somebody. Some of the depth charts don't even have a guy written, so it could be like a write-in candidate for the election. But Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are worth your play. Robert Tonyan is a low-end 1, high-end 2 because he's going to have to throw to somebody. So Marquez Valdes-Scantling gets a flex type of feel, but my value lies in Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. I wouldn't be relying on Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Nick Mullins is the quarterback again. I wondered why they drafted Nick Mullins and C.J. Beathard and why they got them both. And now I get it. It's because Jimmy Garoppolo can't stay healthy. The one season he stayed healthy went to the Super Bowl. But he hasn't stayed healthy besides that. And it's an unfortunate, and my prayers and my hopes that him and everybody else that's injured gets healthy, gets well, and gets back on the horse very, very soon and stays on. Tight end Ross Dwelly, Charlie Warner. These are guys that you're like, what? So the value with San Francisco lies on JaMycal Hasty and JaMycal Hasty. Brandon Ayuk is a flex guy. So you got flex with Ayuk, you got a flex with Valdes-Scantling, more on the side of Brandon than Marquez, in my opinion. And really the value is JaMychal Hasty. That's it. That's a guy to pick up that may still be out there in free agency. You may have to dig a little bit, may be able to find him, but the most value of both teams combined is Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams, and because of that, I will agree with you and pick Green Bay somewhat reluctantly because I'm concerned that they're going to be on the road in this game in a place where they tend to struggle. But I'm going to pick Green Bay just because of the personnel that are going to be out there. I'll give them the slight nod in this one. Denver at Atlanta, a team that is stanky versus a team that's defense is really, really stanky. However, since firing their head coach and their general manager, they've looked a little bit better in Atlanta. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'd like to say that I'm believing in Atlanta, but they beat a Panthers team, and I'm not sure that Panthers team was. Geez, I don't know how to say. I don't know what to make of Atlanta. I look at Atlanta and I see a lot of holes in the defense. I see a lot of problems. I see Matt Ryan, who can sometimes play well. I see Julio Jones when he's on the field. I'm wondering, what are they going to do this week? They're going to be at home. They're favored in this game. The Broncos are coming in. Drew Lock, young quarterback. It's a 2-6 team versus a 3-4 team. Look, Denver's going to come in here with a head of steam. They're going to look to win this game, obviously. The biggest play I have for them is Noah Fant, number 4 on a tight end ranking, and Melvin Gordon, number 14 on the running back ranking. Jerry Jeudy, the rookie, he's going to be the number 1 target. He's been the number 1 target when he could be healthy with Cortland Sutton out. He's number 22 on my rankings, and Drew Lock is number 21. On the other side of the ball for Atlanta, there's some tremendous value here. There's a lot of 9s. 9 is the number here because everybody that's a top player in each position for them is ranked number 9 on my rankings. I didn't plan it. It just worked out that way. Matt Ryan, number 9 on the rankings. Todd Gurley, number 9. Julio Jones, number 9. And Hayden Hurst, number 9. Now, Calvin Ridley's dinged up. He's number 17 on the rankings. And Brian Hill's going to sneak in there, maybe an emergency flex play, but don't count on it. And I can't start Russell Gage in any league I'm in. I really think that Denver's going to attack that weak Atlanta secondary. I think if Denver can run the ball with any success against Atlanta, they could come in and win this game. But you're right. Since they made the coaching change, all of a sudden they found magic in the bottle, and Atlanta's pretty hot right now as far as being able to win games. They won 2 games. Wow. Way to go, Atlanta. You're almost as good as Florida, man. I'm going to take Atlanta at home.
Yeah, this is we talk about a game that should be great on prime time, and there's all these injuries. Then we got a game with Denver and Atlanta, and remember when Denver and Atlanta played for a Super Bowl? Remember the Dirty Bird with Jamal Anderson? Remember John Elway pounding it in on the ground? And I didn't know a team to root for because I didn't have a dog in the race, so I made a sign that had Falcons on one side, Broncos on the other, because I just wanted to see a great football game. I just wanted to see everybody ball out. I loved that game. It was a lot of fun. I still know how to do the Dirty Bird thanks to Jamal Anderson. So, in my opinion, Melvin Gordon, well, he's back. But what does that mean for your fantasy team? He totaled 47 yards last week. Does that make you feel all types of Florida man ferocious? I don't know. But Jerry Jeudy, he's hard to keep off your team. He got 73 yards last week. He's obviously the guy that they're going to trust with Sutton injured and company. So, in my opinion, Noah Fant, tight end 2. Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver 3, flex. Melvin Gordon, flex. Phillip Lindsay, flex. Do I trust that Melvin Gordon or Phillip Lindsay is going to save you? No. On the other side, Matty Ryan, yay. Julio Jones, whoop-de-doo. Calvin Ridley, right now on the injury report, just to make a note here, he's questionable and with a foot injury. But if he's able to go, obviously he's a wide receiver 2 in my opinion. Got to play Julio Jones, got to play Matt Ryan. Hayden Hurst, he's okay. I would look at him as a low-end 1, tight end. Todd Gurley, again, not a guy who I think is going to save you in your fantasy play. So I think there's some players here. I think this game is where you find your flex guys. I think this is where you go through the Walmart $5 bin and you got to pick up a couple things before you check out. These are your couple things before you check out on your roster for this week. And not check out like you don't set it, like a couple things before you hit save. And that's how I look at this game. This is tough, Mike. You know, I'm just going to give it to Atlanta because they got the points. They can score. And that's the only difference I see in this game. Do I think either one of these teams is phenomenal? No. Do I think either one of these teams is ultimately threatening of the other? No. But can Atlanta score 40 faster than Denver? Absolutely. I don't even know if Denver can get there. So I'm going to say Atlanta in this game and agree with you. The next game that we have on the docket's the Seattle Seahawks at them Buffalo Bills. What do you think about this game? Because all of a sudden, Seattle has gotten better and Buffalo has gotten better. So this game feels more like a primetime game. But thanks to the wonderful schedulers that decided not to change anything, we have the awesome opportunity of watching the Patriots play the Jets on Monday Night Football, which is like making me watch Miss Congeniality 2 on repeat in a room where I'm locked and I can't leave. So Seattle at Buffalo, and if anybody wants to know why I didn't say Miss Congeniality 1, it's because the second one was worse. Seattle at Buffalo, Mike, what do you have for this now that we've unlocked the fact that I have a movie that has obviously tortured me throughout many years of my life?
Nice. I tell you, this is that typical 1 o'clock left coast team to the East Coast, 1 o'clock start time. Buffalo's not an easy team to face. They're pretty solid all the way up and down. Seattle, now picture this. You got a San Fran team that's severely beat up. Seattle hosts them last week. They lose their quarterback. They lose their tight end. Nobody knows who's running the ball. And they let San Fran score 20 points on them in the fourth quarter. That's not a good sign. That's a sign of weak defense. That's a sign of, hey, we're going to bend it and not break. We'll let you score 20, but we won't let you score 30. What are you doing? You can't let a team score 20 points on you, especially when they don't have anybody doing it. I bet you nobody can name any of the guys on San Fran that are doing it. So Seattle, you're lucky to escape with a win, in my opinion. And I think Buffalo, who narrowly edged out the Patriots, who were very weak in this game. Cam Newton atrocious again. I think Buffalo's got something to prove here. They're not favored in this game. Seattle's favored in this game. I don't understand how. Because in Buffalo, I got Josh Allen ranked number 4 this week. I got Devin Singletary number 20, Zach Moss 35, Stephon Diggs number 3 receiver, Cole Beasley number 27. I don't trust John Brown. Tyler Kroft, number 25 on the rankings. Going over to Seattle, this is where your money is because, well, these guys perform, but they don't play defense. Thank goodness we're not talking about starting our individual defensive players. Russell Wilson, number 3 on the quarterback rankings. This is where the money is in the receivers. Tyler Lockett, 4. DK Metcalf, 7. Greg Olsen, number 22. Chris Carson. We're hoping he gets healthy if you're a Seattle fan. Number 21, Carlos Hyde may make an appearance, but I think he's going to be out. DJ Dallas looked great last week. They set him up for success, and he delivered. He's number 40 on the rankings, so there's a good flex play for you. Look, I know Seattle's going left coast to east coast, and I know Seattle's favored in the game, and I know I'm taking Buffalo. There's no way I'm taking Seattle here. You let in your last quarter of football, you let a dilapidated team score 20 points on you. You're not going to win your next game on the road with early start time. I'm going to take Buffalo in the upset.
Them Buffalo Soldiers. I'm taking Buffalo as well in this matchup. I think Buffalo, listen, they're at home, and I think Buffalo is a threat to anybody, home or on the road. The great thing, if you're a Buffalo fan in today's world, in this year, everybody talks about 2020 was, well, I shouldn't say everybody, but, you know, people talk about how 2020 was a wash and 2020 was bad. 2020 brought out the best version of me. 2020 got me healthy mind, healthy body now more than ever. 2020 taught me how to do things that I haven't done in the past. 2020 is Buffalo playing fantastical. If you're a fan of the Buffalo Bills, you found something good in 2020. And, folks, you should always find your glass half full because guess what happened today? You woke up. and other people didn't. And that in and of itself should be the blessing that you need to give 2020 a shot. So, because every year deserves a shot. So I'm not canceling anything, and I'm not canceling 2020 because I love the fact that I'm here, and I love the fact that I have an opportunity to make my life better. With that being said, shout out to you, Buffalo Bills, and everything that you've been able to do. You've been straight up handling business this year. Have you been perfect? No. But have you been strong? Have you been better? And do you look the part of winning the division of the AFC East? You do. And so, Buffalo, I appreciate it. And if there's a changing of the guard from the Patriots to the Bills, wow, that's a long time coming. And Buffalo fans got a lot to be excited about. Let's go to the fantasy side for Seattle. Russell Wilson, worth the play. Chris Carson, currently right now, is questionable with a foot injury. Carlos Hyde, who could be there for him, is also questionable with a hamstring. Travis Homer and Rashad Penny are both hurt. DJ Dallas would have another opportunity to present itself if we don't get to see this, but hopefully we'll have these guys back healthy. At least they'll have a healthy Chris Carson. The hope is at this point. But as of right now, just to give you some information on the backfield in the most recent win that they had over San Francisco that Mike was talking about, DJ Davis had 18 carries for 41 yards, 2.3 yards a carry, not good, and 1 touchdown. So DJ is, if you got to dig really, really, really deep into free agency, that's somebody to look at. If you really need a guy because all your guys are injured, off, COVID-19, whatever it may be. But, if Chris Carson can play, he's worth the nod. I'd put him as a running back, too, this week just because he's coming off of a foot injury. And they tell me that feet are important when you're running the ball. Russell Wilson, very important. Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. Greg Olsen I have as a low-end 1, high-end tight end 2. Probably a very high-end tight end 2. On the other side, I like Josh Allen in the game. Zach Moss got me somewhere around 20 points this past week. Now that he has come off of his injury, God bless. And so he's been good. Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, if you got them both, it's tough for me to tell you to play a handcuff because sometimes it only equals one running back. But I would tell you that either one of them is worth the play in this game. I like Stephon Diggs. I like Beasley as a flex, and John Brown probably just a little bit below Beasley in that sense of it. I'm not sold on anybody in the tight end game for Buffalo, but I'm picking the Bills to come out with the victory. Next game we got up, Mr. Sofka, inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly brought to you by the fantastic and wonderful place to watch all the games and so much more. Host your parties, private parties, in events and whatnot, and of course socially distanced and do what you have to do. But the Wildcat Sports Pub with a fantastic bar as well as a wide open restaurant area and of course a private dining room. And when it comes to games on Saturdays and Sundays, the big TVs are going. They're on both sides, and on top of all that, every game in the NFL is played on their screens, which is awesome. College football all over the place, and I'm so happy to be there for our Syracuse games connected to the home football games and everything we do with West Genesee as well as fantasy football. You can support local by going to 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York to the Wildcat. You can also call them at 315-487-2222 for curbside pickup, takeout, and delivery. Also, if you have catering that you need to get done, 315-487-2222. They had an assembly line set up for Halloween, which was really awesome. And hopefully you had yourself some good Wildcat wings, pizza, and more on All Hallows Eve. Mike Sofka and I hanging out here inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour, presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. And we want to let you know that while you listen and watch us, you can connect with us as well on Facebook by typing in Winning Fantasy Football and joining that group. With that being said, Mr. Sofka, we're to our next fantasy match of the week, Chicago at Tennessee. Kind of a weird game to see. In my brain, I don't picture Chicago, Tennessee being on the docket many times in the regular season, but we get to see this NFC, AFC matchup this week. What do you have for this one?
Yeah, as we discussed earlier, I am Florida man, and there's been times where, I've drank, blacked out, and passed out, and then I woke up saying, what the heck happened? Well, that's what the Bears did last week. They woke up in the overtime loss and said, what happened? That's what Tennessee did when they went into Cincinnati and they got slapped. They got slapped hard like Florida man's wife slapping them in the trailer park. This was bad. This was a bad showing. Tennessee tried to make a game of it late, though. But I'll tell you what, Chicago's got problems at quarterback. They think they've got things solved with Foles. I'm not so sure. Look for a Mitch Trubisky sighting soon. With that being said, Nick Foles, number 16 on the rankings. David Montgomery, number 10 on the running back rankings. Allen Robinson, number 8. Anthony Miller, Darnell Mooney in the 50s. Can't play those guys. Jimmy Graham's a red zone magnet, though. He's probably going to get a touchdown for you. He's number 12 on the ranking. Going over to Tennessee, Ryan Tannehill, a little bit better on the ranking, number 13. Derrick Henry, guy's a horse, number 8 on the running back rankings. A.J. Brown and Corey Davis, number 16 and 21 respectively. And Jonnu Smith, the number 13 tight end. Look, I realize that Tennessee's a 5.5-point favorite in this game. I got to go Tennessee because I don't believe in Foles yet. I believe in Chicago's defense, but I don't believe in Foles. And I believe Tennessee's going to rebound from that whipping they took in Cincinnati. So it's going to be all Tennessee for me.
Yeah, Chicago's offense, it's cut and paste. It's cut and paste from last year to the year before. I consistently talk about my just what is there to look at. I'm constant. I mean, I respect Nick Foles. I respect all these guys because they made it to the NFL, and I think it's fantastic and it's great, and I'm excited for them and I'm happy for them. And I love seeing Darnell Mooney from Tulane and Anthony Miller from Memphis that both play in the American Athletic being on the same team. It's just Chicago is. It's kind of it's uneventful. It's like they're 5-3, which I guess is making them more normal now because people are looking at them going, "How is this team undefeated?" or "How they won loss?" But fantasy value wise and overall with Chicago, I see them more of as a pretender than a contender right now. And in this game, I would say David Montgomery is worth a play for you, but he's a running back 2 or 3. I would look at the potential of Allen Robinson and Anthony Miller and Mooney. If you want to just get a look at the numbers here and let you know what Chicago did most recently. Chicago in their loss, as Mike was talking about, against the Saints, 26-23. To take a look at their performers, Montgomery had almost 90 yards on the ground. Montgomery also caught a couple passes, so that helps you in PPR, and he got over 100 yards cumulatively, which helps you out. Anthony Miller got 73 yards, 11 targets, 8 catches. Allen Robinson, 87 yards, a touchdown, 7 targets, 6 catches. Mooney got a touchdown, 6 targets, 5 catches, 69 yards. So I think Allen Robinson, Anthony Miller, and Darnell Mooney are all wide receiver, low-end 2s, high-end 3s, in my opinion. It's not that they're not worth the play. I just don't anticipate them saving. I mean, they'll get, I think, comfortably 10 points. 10, 12, somewhere around there. Somebody might blow up. But, that's kind of where I see them at. That's why I put them as a low-end 2, high-end 3. Montgomery, like I said, running back 2 or 3. Jimmy Graham, 2 catches for 13 yards, targeted seven times last week. I don't see a lot of value there for you. On the other side for Tennessee, Ryan Tannehill, just to take a look at, his recent numbers. Tannehill is obviously leading a Tennessee team that's looking to win the AFC South division. And they're not getting much fight from Houston or from Jacksonville, but they're going to get some from the Colts, which is what Mike and I projected. Tennessee this past week, obviously Derrick Henry is worth the play. Ryan Tannehill, not bad. 233, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. He had 2 rushes for 20 yards as well. Deontay Foreman, who used to play for Houston and went through a lot of injuries coming out of Texas, 5 catches, 5 carries, 37 yards, 7.4 yards a carry. So something to note there, not in fantasy, though, to make you make any decisions. I think, the values with Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown didn't do a lot for me this past week, so I think he's a wide receiver 2. Jonnu Smith, a low-end 1, high-end 2. The value lies in Tennessee's rushing attack. And because Tennessee has more offense than Chicago does, I'm going to give the slight lean to Tennessee in this game, even though I'm not overly sold on either one of these teams in this current moment. I'm going to go with Tennessee. Next game up is the Baltimore, now Ravens, versus the Baltimore, then Colts, but now they're the Indianapolis Colts. What do you have for Baltimore at Indy?
Yeah, the Ravens took one on the chin last week. I don't think Lamar Jackson looked good. This was supposed to be a home victory for them. This was supposed to be, take the Steelers down. They're undefeated. They're the last undefeated team. They just let themselves down, and now bad has gotten worse. Ronnie Stanley, their left tackle's done with ACL. Then they get a COVID scare. Marlon Humphrey and the contact tracing around him they could be without a lot of players if this game is played. And I say if. I'm not happy to report that, but I got Lamar Jackson ranked number 7. I think Lamar Jackson's a good play anytime, but you already know that. I just hope he has a better performance than he did last week. Lamar Jackson, one of the top players in the league. How can you not play him if he's on your team? Well, if you had him last week, you're probably going, how did I play him? But it is what it is. So I really think that Baltimore is a team to be reckoned with in the playoffs. I think they're going to have a rough week here, though. You got Mark Andrews. He's number 9 on my tight end rankings. And you know what? I don't think I can start any of the running backs just simply because J.K. Dobbins, I got ranked 32. Gus Edwards, I got ranked number 48. I just don't see anybody outside Lamar Jackson really running the ball with Mark Ingram being dinged up. Now, that being said, you want to pick up a J.K. Dobbins. You don't know how long Mark Ingram's going to be out. You don't know what the future's going to bring. Baltimore better turn up. Baltimore better do something different this week than they did last week. I'll tell you what, though. The Ravens are lucky that New England is their next team. New England doesn't have a receiver, and it looks like Cam Newton's not a good quarterback either. But Cam Newton this week, he's going to pick up a little bit where he left off with running the ball in years past. I think he's going to have the better running game, believe it or not. He's number 10 on my rankings. Damian Harris, number 29 on the running back rankings. The receivers, I can't really play these guys, but the ones to talk about are Jacoby Myers and Damari Bird. I can't really start most anybody on New England. I have 2 guys I can start on Baltimore. I'm just hoping this game gets played. I'm going to take Baltimore on the road.
Yeah, Baltimore over the Colts in this one, according to Mike. I am also going to take Baltimore over the Colts as well. Yes.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Hold on. I'm giving analysis on week 10 on the Patriots.
Yeah, you said the Patriots.
What am I doing there?
Yeah, so let's go back to the Colts. You gave the Ravens. Go back to the Colts.
Gee, sorry about that. I'm looking ahead to week 10 already. Look at me. I can't wait to get this week over with. The Colts, I like the Colts. I don't like Phillip Rivers, though. I think he's going to be a non-play for you. Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines, 26 and 25, and Trey Burton, 19. I can't start any of the receivers. I'm going to take Baltimore against the Colts. And hey, look, I gave you the play ahead. If you're with a book and they let you open up a parlay and you can play one part of it this week and one part of it next week, go ahead, take Baltimore twice. See that? I'm over-delivering here. I'm giving you week 9 and week 10.
You're giving projections before the polls have closed. That's what you're doing. So so Baltimore at Indianapolis in this game, and for me, obviously the value lies on the side of Baltimore. And I'm not sold on Phillip Rivers either. I agree with Mike. I've stated it multiple weeks. I like Lamar Jackson in this matchup. If we go back to it now, listen, I picked the Steelers to win because I think the Steelers are on. They're onto something right now, and they're the only undefeated team in the country. The Jets are the only defeated team in the country. So, and everybody else somewhere in between. The entire NFC East pretty close, very, very much closer to the Jets than they are any sniff of the Steelers. But as we look at this, J.K. Dobbins finally had a wake-up game. Hello, wake-up call. Shout out. But Gus Edwards was able to score. J.K. Dobbins, hello, wake-up game. I think that both of these guys are flex guys for you because they're playing the Colts. I like it. I like J.K. more than Gus, but I like them both in this matchup. Willie Snead is worth the play as well as a wide receiver 2. High-end 3, Mark Andrews. I know he didn't have a great week against Pittsburgh, but, this is Indy, and I think he'll bounce back. I shouldn't even say this is Indy. I think Mark Andrews is consistently somebody to put out there. Hollywood Brown didn't have himself a great week. That relegates him to right there with Willie Snead as a wide receiver 2, low-end 2, high-end 3. I like Snead coming off of his game, but him and Brown are kind of dead even in the sense of Snead is not overly consistent in giving you great games, and Marquise didn't give you a great one recently. So I'd have both of them as a wide receiver 2, high-end 3. Like I said, J.K. Dobbins, I like him more than Gus Edwards. Both guys that you could look at in a flex because, on a team where you are stocked at running back, you probably don't have them until you're third best, so to speak. But if you had to pick a 2, I'd say Dobbins and Gus both could be low-end 2s, but I'd probably put them as flex. Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews, I like him in this game. Phillip Rivers, not so much. Jonathan Taylor is hurt. He's questionable. If he's able to go, he's worth a look, but I put him as a lower-end running back 2. Nyheim Hines, nice flex guy for you by definition. Jack Doyle, Mo Alley-Cox, and Trey Burton are all guys that you could look at, but Jack Doyle has touchdowns in 2 straight games. So I'd say Jack Doyle is a high-end tight end, too, and I'm going to pick the Ravens to win this matchup. Next game that we have, Mr. Sofka, Carolina at Kansas City. Carolina is a team that's played themselves into games but hasn't been able to play them out. Kansas City is arguably still the nation's best team. So what do you have for this?
Yeah, Carolina coming off that loss there. I think Kansas City is just a great team. Anybody can sit here and say that. I mean, it doesn't take a smart guy to say that, but you play all these guys. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, number 2 on my rankings. Travis Kelce, number 1. Tyreek Hill, number 10 on the wide receiver rankings. CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Clyde the Glide. I'm going to get one of these nicknames a stick. Number 17 on the rankings, Le'Veon Bell is number 36. Going over to Carolina, I don't know what I can play. I can play Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore. Robbie Anderson's number 11 on my rankings. DJ Moore, number 20. And Teddy Bridgewater, number 20 on my rankings. The guy I'm going to rate the highest, though, welcome back Christian McCaffrey. Now, Mike Davis did a great job while you were out, but let's face it, he's not Christian McCaffrey. He came close, but he's not Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey chomping at the bit to come back last week for the Thursday night game. He's back this week. Number 5 on the rankings. And you're still going to give Mike Davis some love. Number 30 on my running back rankings. I can't go against Kansas City. They're just powerful. I'm going to take them at home.
Yeah, I think that this is, I think Carolina has definitely done better than I think people give them credit for. I talk about them more than I think that other people, maybe are arguably. I just see more. I mean, I see something in Carolina. I see something getting built there. I like Matt Rule. He was successful at Temple where I covered him. He's successful at Baylor. I like the fact that he's in Carolina, and I like the fact that he got the nod as a head coach. I think it's awesome, and I'm really happy for him and his family, and I hope that it works out. I think Carolina is going to be able to do some good things, and I think we're going to see some of that this year. Maybe not show up in the win-loss column, but if you really look at it and how they play in games and whatnot, I would stay away from Teddy Bridgewater in this one. Christian McCaffrey, looking at him and the opportunity for him to play, obviously you got to put him out there. He's been on my injured reserve, but there's no way, shape, or form that he will not be out there for me if he can play this week. So McCaffrey, yes. Mike Davis, because McCaffrey's going to be a nice decoy too, don't be surprised if they don't try a couple things to Mike Davis to at least get him one touchdown or one big play in the game. So he's a flex guy for you this week. Robbie Anderson has taken over the duties of the number 1 receiver, which I told you would happen. DJ Moore, both of them are flex guys, in my opinion, in this matchup. I like Robbie a little bit more than DJ. And then on the other side for Kansas City, you play Pat Mahomes, you play Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you play Le'Veon Bell as a flex, you play Tyreek Hill, you play Travis Kelce, and Kansas City gets the victory in this matchup, in my opinion. Final game before we take a step aside here inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub on Wake Up Call with Dan Storra. is Detroit at Minnesota. Two teams that are not overly exciting for their fan bases this year, but what are your thoughts when Detroit will head into Minnesota?
Yeah, Detroit's still dizzy from that 41 points that Indianapolis put on them. And, Minnesota, the Vikings, they're still dizzy from the win. They don't know how they won that game. They know how they won that game. Dalvin Cook, the guy was a beast, ran for 163 yards and 4 touchdowns. Hey, guy's incredible. That's why you got to play him, but you already know that. Looking at Minnesota, Dalvin Cook, number 1 running back on my rankings. Adam Thielen, number 12. Justin Jefferson, number 23. Kirk Cousins, I can't start him, number 26 on the quarterback rankings. I can't start Irv Smith. He's number 26 as well. Going over to the other side, I wish I could report some great news. There's 1 or 2 players here. I'll give you 2. DeAndre Swift, I got him as high as number 13 this week, and I got Matt Stafford, number 11. Marvin Jones, number 24. T.J. Hawkinson, this is going to be a big week for him. Go ahead and play T.J. Hawkinson in daily as well. Number 3 tight end on my rankings. I'm going to have to go with the team with the better run game. And that better run game, even though it's DeAndre Swift and Adrian Peterson, I got to go with Dalvin Cook. The guy's a beast. I'm going to take Minnesota.
Yeah, so looking at this Detroit game on the road at Minnesota, on my end of it, Detroit first, and because they are the road team, taking a look at them, and yeah, coming off of a game, I know my buddy Evan was ecstatic, not only because he has Dalvin Cook in fantasy, but because he is a Florida State Seminole through and through, and Mr. Cook obviously was there, getting the win on the road at Green Bay. Green Bay looking like a strong team this year, and then Minnesota goes in there and gets their second win in 7 tries. They're 2-5 on the season, but they got a win over Green Bay. Dalvin Cook, 3 touchdowns, rushing 163 yards, 5.4 yards a carry, 30 carries. Imagine if you got PPR, but like PPC, points per carry, 30 points right there. Dalvin Cook, 2 catches, 63 yards, led the team in receiving yards, and was the only team to score a receiving touchdown. He was everything to the team this past week against Green Bay. And you think that Green Bay would key in on Dalvin Cook, the best player next to Adam Thielen on the offense, but obviously they didn't get the memo and weren't ready for it by some way, shape, or form beyond me. So, on Detroit's side of things, DeAndre Swift has worked his way into number 1. Peterson's a flex. Swift's still worth the play, but I got him as a running back 3 just because of his inconsistency. Kenny Golladay, on his side, he's doubtful to play in this game, which makes Marvin Jones more of value to you. He is a wide receiver 3. Very, very low end, too, if you go that route. T.J. Hawkinson is worth the play in this matchup. He saw double-digit targets, so definitely worth the play. People had hopes of him as a rookie last year. Seeing that come to fruition this year, sometimes it just takes a little bit more time to get something to come through and get done. Minnesota can shout out the fact that all 4 of their running backs are healthy, which not everybody can say, so knock on wood, and God bless to that. Dalvin Cook is worth your play. Adam Thielen as well. I can't trust either one of their tight ends. Kyle Rudolph did not get shipped away. He's still there. And Justin Jefferson, a very low-end flex guy. So really it's Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen in this matchup. If they can beat Green Bay, leaning on the run, I'm going to trust that they can beat Detroit. I'm going to pick Minnesota as well. So Mike and I have gone snake eyes all the way through. We have picked all of the same teams. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, we'll see if we feel the same when we have the Giants at the Washington football team, Houston and Jacksonville coming off a bye week and playing each other, and so much more coming up right after this, where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We're so happy to have you here. We thank you so much for tuning in to this broadcast of Wake Up Call inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. We'll talk with you right outside of this fast break.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelani. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, and of course here on Facebook Live on facebook.com/live now DT. We are inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. You had the first hour, and for those of you watching on video on Facebook, you had that first video, the Midweek Blitz, so you can go back and watch. And, of course, now we are into the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. All of this inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. Use the promo code DT20 to get your popcorn ready. DT20 from anywhere. You can order and have it shipped to you. Mike can have Mon Paz at his house just as much as I can by using the promo code DT20, picking our favorite flavor, and at checkout using DT20 to get 20% off at MaandPazPopcorn.com. Like I said, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, a lot of stuff going on. Mike and I got the next game on the docket, and thank goodness this game is not a Sunday or Monday night game. Sweet mother of Jehoshaphat. But Tampa and the Giants didn't turn out to be such a bad game on Monday night, did it? There's something about Tom Brady getting the willies when he plays the Giants. It's like he hears those footsteps, right? There's something to say about how the Giants make Mr. Brady apparently feel, because he's got to go all the way to the end of the game and hope that a 2-point conversion doesn't go through just to be able to get out of MetLife alive. This is the same Tom Brady that embarrassed Green Bay just a short while ago, and he's barely getting past the Giants without Saquon Barkley. So, Mike, thoughts on the Giants as they get ready to play Washington, and thoughts on the fact that Monday night wasn't that bad?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Tom Brady gets the jitters. He sees that Giant logo, and he smells that I don't know. It's like the smell, the aura, whatever it is. He hasn't performed well, and that's one thing that Eli Manning has over Tom Brady. He's beat him twice in Super Bowls. So, I mean, that's just tremendous. So, but it's Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. But last week, I don't think he helped win the game. I think the Giants help them win the game. I just think the Giants are just that bad. You know, the Giants, with that being said, you can't start too many guys. The one guy I can start is Evan Ingram, number 11 on the tight end rankings. I can't start any wide receivers. I can't start any running backs. I will give one shout out to Alfred Morris making an appearance in that game. Wayne Gallman and Devonta Foreman are in the 40s as far as rankings for me. Daniel Jones, number 19, because that Washington defense isn't bad. They have a great pass rush. Kerry Hyder's playing well. They got one or two guys you could play. You know, they're not as bad as the Giants. Terry McLaurin, number 6 on the wide receiver rankings. Logan Thomas, number 17. Antonio Gibson, number 16 on the running back rankings. And J.D. McKissick right behind him at number 28. Kyle Allen, just keep the course. Play the Trent Dilfer role. Don't screw it up. Number 25 on the quarterback rankings, so I can't start him. But I'll tell you what, I will take Washington in this game simply because they're at home, and I think they have the better pass rush, and I think they have one or two better athletes, and specifically in Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson. So I'm going to take Washington.
Yeah, you know, I find it interesting, but I'm also going to take Washington too, and the reason why is, you know, I don't think the Giants are going to do it 2 weeks in a row. You know, I think they played a game against Tampa Bay at home where we really sat here and said, wow, you know, they can compete with some of these, you know, teams that are forces to be reckoned with this year. But it's about consistency. And I just don't think that the Giants are consistent. And that's why I don't think they're going to win this game. I mean, you're playing Washington, so Daniel Jones, he's a quarterback too in this matchup. Darius Slayton, a low-end wide receiver 2, high-end 3. Evan Ingram, worth the play, low-end 1, high-end 2 at tight end. On the other side of it, Antonio Gibson, not a bad play because he's playing the Giants. I'd put him as a running back 3, probably a flex. Terry McLaurin, you can look at him as a wide receiver 3. I don't think any of these guys are 1s and 2s. I think Terry gets a little bit more value because if it's Haskins or Allen throwing to him, he seems to be okay no matter who the quarterback is. And Antonio Gibson could do some good things. Washington's coming off of a bye. They're well rested. The Giants are coming off of a strong game against the Bucs. But I don't see the Giants carrying this over into this game against Washington. So I think the fantasy value is kind of a little bit here and a little bit there on both sides. And ultimately, I don't think you should write home about any of them. But I would say, you know, Darius Slayton, Evan Ingram on one side, Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin on the other side, and I'm going to lead on the Washington football team to carry out this game, and hopefully, you know, can Washington get a name before we get a president? I don't know, maybe. Houston at Jacksonville. What do you have for this?
Yeah, this is actually a pretty good game to watch for fantasy players. I know it doesn't look well. It's not fancy. It's not all dressed up real nice. You know, neither team has played well. Both teams only got one victory. And Jacksonville's having to start a rookie quarterback. Gardner Minshew's going to be hurt here and not play. Jake Luton going to be making his debut. I guess they went with him instead of Mike Glennon. And why not? You know, you got another rookie. You put him out there, see what you got. And if not, maybe they're going to be in the market for the Trevor Lawrence pick coming up here. Or is Trevor Lawrence going to stay in school? I think that's a bluff. I think he just doesn't want to go to a really bad team like Jacksonville. But Jacksonville's got a guy who's been stellar all year, came out of nowhere. Nobody knows who this guy is at Illinois State. He's the number 3 running back on my rankings this week, James Robinson. Jake Luton, for as bad as he is, I got him ranked number 17 this week. I think he's going to make some headway, even though Houston's got that awesome pass rush with J.J. Watt. I'm trying to find some other value here on Jacksonville. I'll go over to Houston, though, because there's some value on Houston. There's more value on Houston than there is Jacksonville. Deshaun Watson, number 4 on the rankings. David Johnson, number 12. Brandon Cooks, number 18 on the wide receiver rankings. Will Fuller, number 13. And Randall Cobb, number 44. Jordan Akins and Darren Fells kind of cannibalize each other. They're ranked in the 20s. Look, for as bad as both teams are, somebody – well, now wait a second. I don't want to say maybe this could end in a tie, but somebody's going to win this game. I think it's going to be Houston against a rookie quarterback. I'm going to go with the team with more power, the team with the better quarterback, Deshaun Watson. I'm going to take the Texans.
Well, and what I like about Doug Marrone, a former Syracuse head coach, is that he's actually seeing what he has on the bench, and in a season where the team's not winning, he's actually, seeing what quarterback he has in Jake Luton. He's looking at the freshman, so to speak, something that I would love for Dino to do more of at Syracuse. So Deshaun Watson, I think, is worth the play. I think Will Fuller V is worth the play. Because they're playing Jacksonville, Cooks and Cobb become flex guys for you. Jacksonville, Jake Luton, they listen, he didn't have a bad career. I looked at his numbers. I looked at what he had, and I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you exactly what Jake Luton did, but with his college statistics. But to take a look at the fact that they're going to start him, I like it because he could be the future. There's a reason why they drafted him. You want to know what you have, back it up. He played for Idaho and Oregon State. When he went to Oregon State, most recently, his completion percentage in his career of 4 years is 62.2%, over 5,600 yards. Last season, he threw for 2,714 yards. He had 28 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. In a career in college, 43 touchdowns to 15 interceptions. He only threw 11 interceptions to 42 touchdowns at Oregon State. His time at Oregon State, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 28 touchdowns, 3 interceptions most recently. So you talk about Jacksonville quarterbacks throwing picks. Let's see how this guy translates to the NFL, and could he stay away from it? Mike, you're going to pick Houston. Like you said, this game could end in a tie. Jacksonville's supposed to win games that they don't. Or, pardon me, they're not supposed to win games, and then they do, and they have a very weird season. So I'm going to go with this very weird moment, and I'm going to pick Jacksonville. I think you should play James Robinson. I think you should play DJ Chark. Laviska Shenault and Keelan Cole are flex guys for you. Don't be surprised if Keelan Cole breaks away for a big one in this game of 50 to 80 yards potentially. I'm going to take the Jaguars in a game that they are not supposed to win, because if I know anything about Jacksonville, they win the ones they aren't supposed to, and they make you scratch your head when they're supposed to come away with one. So let's see what Jacksonville could do with Jake Luton. I think he gets a win in his first game. This might be crazy, but I was also the person that picked Michigan State over Michigan and picked Indiana over Penn State, and I came away okay in those. So we'll see how I do this time around. Mike, the next game up, the Raiders at the Chargers. What do you have?
Yeah, the Raiders at the Chargers. This is going to be a surprise name. It's my sneaky play of the week in this one, so pay attention. Make sure you get something to write with. LA 4-3, the Chargers 2-5. The Chargers are narrowly favored in this one, and I think rightfully so. Justin Herbert's been tremendous. Number 6 quarterback on my rankings this week. Keenan Allen, number 2 wide receiver. Mike Williams, number 29. Hunter Henry, number 5 tight end this week. Justin Jackson, number 15. Joshua Kelly hasn't looked as good lately. He's given up some snaps. He's number 31 on the rankings, but the guy he's given up the snaps to, Troy Maine Pope out of Jacksonville State. Had a cup of coffee in the league with the Jets in Seattle back in 16, played in 4 games, hung around the Chargers for 2 games, 19, and this year 2 games. The difference, his 2 games, his last game's tremendous, but his 2 games, he's got 11 rushes for 73 yards for a 6.6 yards per carry average. He's been targeted 7 times, caught 4 balls for 28 yards. This guy's taken over Joshua Kelly's role, and Joshua Kelly lost his initial role to Justin Jackson. Troy Maine Pope, sneaky play of the week, sneaky daily play in DraftKings, FanDuel, etc. Going over to the Raiders, well, Josh Jacobs. He's a great running back, of course. Number 4 on the running back rankings this week. Derek Carr, number 14. Damian Waller, number 2 on the tight end rankings. And I can't start a wide receiver for Derek Carr's team here. I don't know who to pick there. I got Ruggs and Hunter Renfrow in the 70s here, and I can't play either one of those guys. With that being said, I think the Chargers are the better team up and down here. I'm going to go with the Chargers.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that the Raiders were the first and only team to beat the Chiefs this season, and the Chargers, with Justin Herbert having to step in that game, almost beat the Chiefs. Both of these teams in the division of the AFC West. Very important to note that these, if Kansas City is the best team in the league, both of these teams have made it interesting against Kansas City, if not winning. I think in this matchup you got to play Josh Jacobs. They beat Cleveland 16-6 last week, and in an ugly game as far as fantasy goes, and Josh Jacobs still got you over 120 yards rushing. So I like Josh Jacobs in the matchup. I like Henry Ruggs the third, but he's a low-end wide receiver too because he hasn't been somebody to lean on. Hunter Renfrow is a flex guy. He caught a touchdown this past week, and I like Darren Waller in the game as well for the Vegas Raiders. On the other side of it, I like Justin Herbert in this game because I don't know if the Raiders' defense can really stop Herbert. I think he's done a really good job. I think fantasy-wise, between Herbert and Joe Burrow, there's been a lot of good that has come out of this. I think Troy Maine-Pope, I like that as a flex guy for you, Mike. I think Keenan Allen is worth the play, and Hunter Henry. I said to remember the name Donald Parham. He didn't get any targets most recently, but he's already caught a touchdown here coming out of the XFL. So I like Donald Parham Jr. I wonder if he's going to go back to the XFL once that opens in 2021 with The Rock taking over. So it'll be interesting to see that. Justin Jackson has been on my team, and I've been disappointed and whatnot. He came up and got 89 yards this past week on 17 carries, 5.2 yards a carry. He also caught 3 passes and had 53 yards, so he got you over 100 yards, and he got you PPR points. So, I think Justin Jackson and Troy Maine-Pope are worth the play. Not a bad – I think that in this situation, not a bad handcuff because I think there's going to be some points scored in this. I'm picking the Chargers to win this game and be able to handle the Raiders. But, shout out to both of them because both of these teams I didn't think would give me much to look at this year, and it's been the opposite. So shout out to you both for doing some good stuff. This game looks like a game that should be a Super Bowl matchup. Instead, it's an undefeated team against a team that no matter how many games they lose, they still can't get out of it. It's like they're trying to not be in the running to win the NFC East, but no matter what they do, the NFC East is so bad that they're still in the running and probably will be all the way to the bitter end, even if they win a few games and that's it. Pittsburgh at Dallas. How this series, this game has changed over time. Pittsburgh's still good. Dallas is awful. Granted, they don't have Dak Prescott. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, they don't have Dak Prescott. They need Dak Prescott. You know who they have this week? Cooper Rush. They're pulling Cooper Rush out. Ben DiNucci tried his best. He did what he could do. Yeah, he's a good quarterback for what he is, but as a rookie and as an underdeveloped quarterback, it showed, and they were pretty bad. They're going to be pretty bad against Pittsburgh this week, too. I got Cooper Rush ranked number 29. Zeke Elliott's who they're going to try to rely on and lean on. But with 8-9 guys in the box, what can you do? Ezekiel Elliott ranked number 11 still on my rankings. Dalton Schultz, 15. Maybe he'll get a red zone touchdown. Usually the tight end is the young quarterback or the starting quarterback's best friend. Amari Cooper, number 15 on the rankings. CD Lamb, number 33. Pittsburgh's where all the money is. This is where all the action is, though. Ben Roethlisberger, number 15 on the rankings. James Conner, number 7. Juju Smith-Schuster, where have you been? You're starting to show up. Number 19 on my rankings this week. Deontay Johnson, 26. And Chase Claypool, the rookie, have an outstanding year. 35 on the wide receiver rankings. And Eric Ebron, number 10. This isn't going to be close. I'm not even going to watch this game. It's going to be the Steelers, and then more Steelers.
Yeah, this is the game that I feel like this is one of those games during the season where you're like, there's no possible way that the other team can win, which makes you really freaking nervous that this could be one of them crazy games that make people stop and go, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that just happened, especially to an undefeated team. However, I do see this game as being like a 28-3 in favor of the Steelers. I picked the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers, what they were able to do against the Titans, respect, and what they did against the Ravens, more respect. So now they're playing the Cowboys. I expect them to handle this. They're on the road. Not worried about it. Ben Roethlisberger worth the play, James Conner, Juju Smith-Schuster, Chase Claypool as a flex, Deontay Johnson as a flex, Eric Ebron, I've picked him up. I like him. Put him out there. Jalen Samuels, because they're playing Dallas and they might be able to rest Connor a little bit, Jalen Samuels might be able to do some things out of the backfield and catching the ball as well. He's flex in a opportunity potentially for you PPR-wise. And, looking at Dallas and what they have right now, this, quarterback, there's nothing you can do there. It's Zeke Elliott. Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb are at the mercy of the quarterback situation. So is Dalton Schultz. And they're also at the mercy of who the quarterback is most comfortable with. So I would say that this relegates all of them to flex positions this week. The value's in Ezekiel Elliott and potentially a little bit of value in Dalton Schultz, because when a quarterback gets in trouble, where do they go? They go to their tight end and the running back. So something to look at there. I'm not feeling great about Dallas, like I said. I think they're going to score 3 points in this game, but I will give the fantasy value to Ezekiel Elliott in the matchup. But if the Steelers stack the box, it's going to be even harder. So I don't see a lot of good coming out of Dallas. I see a lot of fantasy value with Pittsburgh, and I see Pittsburgh going 8-0 and moving on forward. Before we take our final step aside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Wednesday with Mr. Mike Sofka. Join us on our Facebook group, Winning Fantasy Football. Miami Dolphins at the Arizona Cardinals. How this game has gone to feel like a college game. Feels like an SEC game. SEC Big 12. Feels like a big-time game, maybe even a bowl game. We got Tua on one side with Miami. We have Kyler Murray on the other side with Arizona. And we're going to have college football on Sunday. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, everybody's excited after Tua's start last week. The defense really bailed them out with pick six. The defense just took over that game. I don't think Tua showed too much, but the good thing is for his first real start, he didn't do anything really too bad. So for a rookie, for a guy that's highly touted, they're going to take a look at him for the next 8 games here. They're going to see, are they going to follow the Josh Rosen model where if they don't like what they see, could this be a situation like that? I think that's why it was smart to get him out. If he's physically able, you put him on the field right away. Look, this is a win-now league. This is a stand in front of the microwave and say, I ain't got all minute. This is you better win now because you're going to lose your job as a coach. Well, I don't think that Brian Flores is in danger of losing his job. Tua is a great player. Smart to play him, but not this game. Not yet. He doesn't have the skills for fantasy yet. Number 23 on the rankings. Look, there's an injury to Myles Gaskin. Matt Breida is going to be the guy you're going to want. Number 23 on the running back rankings. Devontae Parker's the guy you want from Miami on the wide receiver rankings, 31. And Mike Gesicki is a tight end to number 14. On the other side, it's the complete opposite. It's Arizona. Kyler Murray, number 1 on the rankings. DeAndre Hopkins, number 5. Christian Kirk's going to see some good action this week, too. He's been on the climb. He's been on the rise. You can count on a touchdown from him. Number 36 on my rankings. And Chase Edmonds filling in full-time for the injured Kenyon Drake. Number 6 on the running back rankings. Miami's a good team, but they just beat L.A. at home, a game they had no business winning. I don't think they're going to do it twice in a row. I don't think they can go to Arizona and beat another team they're not supposed to. I'm going to take Arizona.
Yeah, I think the thing that's interesting here is Tua got a first win in his first start in the NFL, but that win came with an Andrew Van Ginkel 78-yard fumble return and a Jakeem Grant 88-yard punt return for a touchdown. That's notable here. Now, did he throw an interception against the Rams and Jalen Ramsey and company? No. Was he sacked a lot by Aaron Donald and company? No, Miami protected him. He was only sacked once. So Tua went 12 of 22. He didn't have 100 yards, threw 93 yards, but had a touchdown in the game. And so there's something to be said about that. But when you look at an 11-point victory, you got to give credit to the special teams and the defense that really showed up for Miami in a very uncharacteristic game for Miami, which continues to beg the question, who are the Rams this year? So, staying in that division of the NFC West, we go to Arizona. And I agree with you, Mike. I don't think Miami's going to do it twice. I don't think they're going to beat the NFC West 2 weeks in a row here. And I don't think Tua is the guy to put out there right now. I will tell you that Myles Gaskin hasn't been a bad thing, but he's out until at least week 12 with an MCL knee injury. And God bless to him, and I hope he gets better soon. Matt Breida of the San Francisco history, he is now the number one guy. Patrick Laird is there as well. I don't trust in that. Devontae Parker, flex. Preston Williams, flex. Mike Gesicki, still a tight end one for me because your young quarterback's going to go to him. I like Kyler Murray. I like Chase Edmonds. I like DeAndre Hopkins. And maybe a flex to Christian Kirk. The value's in Arizona. The win's in Arizona. I'm going with the Cardinals in this one. Sunday and Monday Night Football coming up right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. You are here with myself and Mr. Mike Sofka of Hall of Fame FantasyFootball.com. We are here inside of the, not one of and not a, but the Fantasy Football Power Hour, right here, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. So grateful, so honored to be here with you every single week, bringing you fantasy football advice in and out of season, because as Mike and I will tell you, there is no off season when it comes to fantasy football. So, and there's no off season when it comes to the Wildcat. Always worth being there every single week for great food, great service, great people, and supporting Central New York now more than ever. We'll take a step aside from the Cafe Kubal studios. When Mike and I come back, we will wrap things up with Sunday and Monday Night Football right after this.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
This is Jim Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand butter chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant is different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcall.dt, hanging out with you inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal available to you in 5 locations inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital, as well as 3501 James Street, 401 South Salina Street, 324 West Water Street, and their newest location on 208 North Townsend Street in the Holly Green Cafe. They also have the mobile cafe that will come to you, and local delivery, which has no delivery charge for those of us in Onondaga County. So, with all that being said, shout out and thanks to Cafe Kubal, and get your DT special pumpkin spice chai today from any of the locations for mobile pickup, as well as going right in and ordering there in and of itself at any one of the locations that I have given to you. The DT special pumpkin spiced chai. I get mine with almond milk. You can have yours however you like it today. With that being stated, we're inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub with Mr. Mike Sofka of Hall of Fame FantasyFootball.com. Go there for your fantasy needs, an extension of what we do here, as well as we implore you to go to our fantasy football group, Winning Fantasy Football, and join us there. With that being stated, Mike, we got Sunday night and Monday night left on the docket. So without further ado, let's hop right into Sunday night football and the Saints at the Bucks. It is the second coming of Drew Brees and Tom Brady facing each other in the same division. What happens?
Yeah, this is going to be a great game. I'm really looking forward to watching this one. Both teams won games they look like they shouldn't have won. They narrowly escaped in both games. You know what? This is going to be interesting because Drew Brees and Tom Brady are exchanging records for touchdowns, and Drew Brees, of course, has yards and all these other records. So a lot of these records could be go back and forth with each team's offensive drive. Oh, now Tom Brady's the leader in touchdowns. Oh, now Drew Brees is the all-time leader in touchdowns. So it's going to be interesting to watch that head-to-head. But I'll tell you what, you're going to make some money on this game if you pick the right players. One of the right players is Tom Brady. Tom Brady, number 8 on the quarterback rankings. Ronald Jones, number 24, and I have Leonard Fournette narrowly getting him out at number 19. Both of those guys are worth the play on the low end. Rob Gronkowski's come around. You can tell that timing with him and Tom is back. Rob Gronkowski, number 6 tight end on the rankings. On the other side of the ball, Jared Cook, number 16 tight end. Are we going to see Michael Thomas? Is Michael Thomas going to play this year? There's discipline problems. There's injury problems. He had a fight with somebody, but now he has a cold, and he stubbed his toe, and he's got a calf, and he's got a knee, and he's got... Stop with the games. Just give me Michael Thomas, put him on the field. I'm going to hope he makes the field. I got him number 34 on the rankings. I can't rank any other Saints wide receiver, though. Alvin Kamara is the guy. You already know that, though. Number 2 on the running back rankings. He's number 18 on the quarterback rankings here. I'm going to have to go with Tampa Bay. It's a home game. Tom Brady. Tom Brady's feeling good. He's feeling good hooking up with Gronk. I think they're going to take that to the next level. I got Tampa Bay in this one.
Yeah, Tampa, and mind you, the first time around when they faced the Saints, it was Tom's first game as a Buck. Lost that game in New Orleans, 34-23. You know how Tom is about losing twice and repaying the favor and all that good stuff. So, the only team that they knew how to beat him twice, and that was in the Super Bowl, was the Giants. So, and then Philly took him down as well, showing that the NFC East is a thorn in the side of the AFC East still to this day, after the NFC East wreaked havoc on the Buffalo Bills back in the 90s. So, in this matchup on New Orleans' side first, as New Orleans is the away team here. So looking at New Orleans first and foremost, I will tell you that, Drew Brees, the fact that these guys both want to keep that record and get a win, and they're going to, in my opinion, I know Drew Brees hasn't had the greatest season, but if you're going to play him in a game where he really needs to get it done and make it happen, Drew Brees is worth the play in this matchup. Taysom Hill is a definite flex, in my opinion, in a game like this. Could be a catalyst and a game changer. Alvin Kamara, I like him too. Latavius Murray is relegated to a flex under Taysom Hill. I like Alvin, like Mike said, more than anybody. Traquan Smith, he's the one healthy guy that you have right now, pretty much, besides Deontay Harris. So the reality of it all is Traquan has to be the guy if you're going to play anybody. He's a wide receiver 3, in my opinion. That gives Jared Cook a tight end 1 designation, mid to low range tight end 1, but because there's not a lot of receivers out there. On Tampa's side, Tom Brady, Leonard Fournette, Mike Evans, all worth the play. We're seeing the fact that Scotty Miller is also another guy that you could look at. Antonio Brown's been activated, so we know that is a thing that's going on right now. And so we will have to obviously take a deeper look at that. He will play Sunday against the Saints. He is someone to put as a flex position because he's either going to catch one pass and do much of nothing, or he's going to be awesome. So a perfect week with Chris Godwin hurt. Mike Evans, like I said, worth the play. Rob Gronkowski, definitely worth the play as well, in my opinion. And I'm going to pick Tampa Bay to win because, like I said, Tom Brady doesn't like to lose twice. He gets really weird about it and ornery. So I know nobody likes to lose, but Tom Brady, there's a face that Tom Brady makes when he loses that you kind of get that feeling it's not going to happen again. And so I think Tom Brady will get this one, and like Mike said, it's at home. Final game, Monday Night Football, the Patriots at the Jets. What do you have for this?
Yeah, I can't believe this game's on Monday Night Football. This is a bad game. The NFL needs to learn to flex these Sunday night and Monday night games. This is just bad. This is just bad TV. This is just, I can't understand how this is going to be. I'm going to have to find something else to watch. Maybe I'll watch the rest of the election coverage on Monday night instead, because Lord knows that's going to be dragged out till then. Look, I gave some of this up before, but Cam Newton, number 10, I think he's going to have a good running week this week against an abysmal Jets defense who got throttled by Kansas City. Damian Harris, number 29 on the running back rankings. And again, Damari Bird and Jacoby Myers, I can't really play these guys during the 30s. Same thing with Ryan Izzo. On the other side of the ball for the Jets, it's simple. I can't play anybody. I'm going to take New England.
Yeah, I mean, this seems to be a very it's an ugly game, and I don't know why we have to watch this. You know, why this is. It's kind of like when there's a presidential address and you're like, why are you coming on at the time of my show? Why do you come on at 8? Why do you come on at 9? Come on at 6 p.m. when the news is usually on, and just do your news at that time. Come on during news time. It's dinner time. People are home. Do it then. Don't do it at 8 or 9 during my show. And that's how I feel right now. Patriots, Jets, why are you doing this to us? Why are you coming on it a little bit after 8 p.m. on a Monday night? There's nothing else we could put on. There's nothing else we could watch. We know that the NFL can kind of do what they want. So why not flex it a little bit and move it around and shake it up? Because this is not the game that people should be subjected to on Monday Night Football. With that being said, am I sold on Cam Newton? No. If you could play two quarterbacks, well, I guess you play him because he's playing the Jets. He's a low-end one, high-end two because he's playing the Jets. But am I overly feeling great about it? No. Damian Harris, James White, these are maybe flex guys because you're playing the Jets. On the other side of it, Sam Darnold, questionable for the game with a shoulder injury. Jamison Crowder's hurt. He was the value on this. There's really nobody to play in this game, in my opinion, unless you take a shot on Cam Newton. So I'm going to say New England in this game. And, this is a movie that I would never pay $13 to see. So I'm happy that it's on television and it's not an extra upcharge. Don't get any ideas, NFL, because I said that. I'm going to pick the Patriots in this game reluctantly because, what else can I do in a game that's as ugly as this? With that being stated, Mr. Sofka, the Bengals, the Browns, the Rams, and the Eagles are off this week. And I want to thank you, as always, for all that you do with Hall of Fame FantasyFootball.com, being a consistent source for everybody all over the world for fantasy football, for free and paid opportunities to be aided with their fantasy team in season, going into the season, and coming out of a season and all that good stuff. I thank you for your knowledge on waiver wires and dynasty and all different types of leagues and standard and PPR, and I applaud what you've done with Winning Fantasy Football, the Facebook group that you and I have on Facebook. So what I will say to you, Mr. Sofka, as we do not know who the president will be of the future of America, I know that I choose you. After all these years, I choose you to continue to be my elected co-host for fantasy football.
Florida man for president. How about that? Dan, I like your endorsement, but, there's just only so much I can do. It's bad enough. I got to keep up with all this fantasy football. I can't keep up with the whole world and be the leader of the free world. I know at times it feels like I'm that when I'm doing all this rankings every week, but I'm happy to do it. I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to come on the show here, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Sounds great. Well, in the meantime, be safe, hold down my second home, and I'll talk to you in a bit.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Dan.
Take care. Coming from Mr. Mike Sofka here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And with that being stated, we are set for today. We got plenty coming up tomorrow. Papa Joe is going to be rocking the show as always, and we'll have a special guest joining PJ on tomorrow's broadcast. That being Max White from CNS, the offensive lineman who has committed to play for SUNY Cortland for college football. Yet another talented player here in Central and Upstate New York getting an opportunity to continue their playing career, which I am so elated for, and more than anything because Max is such a nice person and somebody that you really root for because you want to see people succeed and when you want to see the good succeed in the world. And so I feel so fortunate to know Max White, and I'm so happy that he's going to be on the show with me yet again, and he'll be joining me here tomorrow. So with that being said, him and Papa Joe will be hanging with us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and I look forward to bringing that to you. In the meantime, find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call_DT. Of course, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, I got to give my thanks and my appreciation to Cafe Kubal. Thank you for giving me my own drink, the pumpkin spice chai. Get yourself out to Carvel DeWitt today for a buy one, get one Orange Dream Sunday. My DT special Sunday at Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street exclusively. Buy one, get one today of the Orange Dream. Perfect day to try it. Go out and get it today. As it gets warmer, it'll be in the 60s for the next week or so, I believe. So God bless to that and thankful. Thank you to Julian Wiggum for the Midweek Blitz, Mike Sofka for the Fantasy Football Power Hour, the Wildcat for being a huge part of our fantasy football love here on the broadcast. And, of course, you can watch and listen to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday by going to, obviously, go to Facebook at facebook.com/LiveNowDT, and then you listen on MixLR for free. You can also become a member for free on MixLR, which I implore you to do. MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT. And then you search our archives by looking up Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You will find us on YouTube as well as Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, MixLR, and on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. And, of course, a very special thanks to our community partners here in Central New York and beyond. We wanted the Central and Upstate New York Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, Wildcat Sports Pub, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Avicoli's. Use the online promo code AVS10 for 10% off of all orders on myavicolis.com. Chick-fil-A Cicero, Honda City of Liverpool, Trapper's Pizza Pub, the Millhouse Market, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn, and go to Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com. Use my personal promo code DT20, that's DT20, to get 20% off of all your orders. It's great for the holidays coming up, Christmas and Hanukkah and all of that, to go out there and get to Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com. Use the promo code DT20 for 20% off of all online orders, even if you're doing in-store pickup. And with that being said, a special thanks to our beverage eye of choice as well, Monster Energy, Reign, Body Armor, and Coca-Cola right here with me in the studios. Have yourself a great day. No matter who wins, whatever election, local, states, and, national, we are one family. We are one country. We are one human race. Love each other. Support each other. Nobody's better than anybody else. There's no reason to riot. There's no reason to loot. There's no reason to set things on fire. There's no reason to cause more damage where damage has already been done. We must rebuild together and not tear down. I love you all. God bless. No stress. Do your best. Have a great day. Be well.